And we're live. Welcome back, everybody, to the PEO Speedwagon podcast. As always, I'm your host, Rick Johnson, joined with co-host Ryan Shapiro. Thanks for tuning in, Wagoneers. Ryan, how are we feeling today?
We're good. We're dialed in. We're a lot closer to the camera.
Yeah, kind of up close and personal. It's in like 4K right in our faces.
4K. It's about 4 feet away is what it is.
But there's a reason for that. So we hope you guys are tuning in on the video for this episode in particular, because what we want to do is actually, it's an exercise that Ryan did with me in my first month in the PEO industry. And it's a way of sort of looking at the cost of employment for businesses and seeing what their investment with a PEO would look like, and doing it in a way so we can see the scale of what the cost of employment is. And so, Ryan, I think we can kind of kick this thing off and get the show going for folks here.
Yeah, this is fun. We haven't done this in a while. It's something I've done many times when I was at Insperity, and I've done it for other PEO reps across the years. Just kind of, a lot of people learn differently. And what we're going to do here, I think, shows a little more tangible aspect of what the investment, not only in a PEO is, but what a business is already making in their people. So hopefully this works. I have no idea if it will.
Why now? Why does this seem like something we talk about right now?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, because we're like we talked about in the last episode, we're approaching a time of the year where a lot of people are going to be making PEO decisions, and they're going to be laboring over those decisions. They're going to be looking at the costs. They're going to be scrutinizing the costs of different components of the PEO model. And I think that this is a really great reminder for two sets of people. One, PEO sales reps to really visualize what you're selling and what that impact can be on an already very large investment that a company has in their people. Two, to business owners who are who are trying to understand what they're actually spending and how does that compare to what they've already invested in their people. Like, is this a good investment?
Yeah.
I think this exercise can show that the power and the impact of a PEO is really great. And you can visibly see that it's not a big expense, which is really hard to, really communicate inside of a PEO sales process with all the moving pieces going on. So this kind of simplifies it in a way. And it's something that I've done, like I said, many times. I've done it poorly many times as well. I'm just hoping that this is not one of those cases.
What's your prop of choice to do the demonstration? How do you show people?
That's a wonderful segue to a prop. This is going to be the first official prop of the PEO Speedwagon podcast, but it is a poker chip set.
Perfect.
Is the prop. So this is, let me get my liquid death out of here, in the event. Yeah, it's a product plugged as well, hopefully for sponsorship at some point. But the Dr. Death, it's a really great flavor. And inadvertently matched my shirt to a degree. So the poker chip set is the prop. And so what we do here is, like I said, try to create a real visual representation of what a small to medium-sized business spends on their people.
Okay.
Because if you're a PEO sales rep, before you ever knock on the door of a business, cold call them, email them, send them a LinkedIn message, meet them through a networking event, if they've got a business, they're already invested in their people.
Right.
And when you sit down with a business owner and start talking about human capital strategy, that investment already kind of seems foreign to them. It seems like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, we don't spend money on HR. We don't really spend money on this type of stuff. And you're like, that cannot be true, because I just walked through the doors of a pretty nice building into, a foyer, and you had someone there who greeted me, or you had open office scene. Like, I can walk in, I see people. Like, you're investing in HR because HR is people and people is HR. But let me kind of dial into what we're talking about here, which is your human capital expense. So the way that I used to do this, the way that I did this for you, is let me get this thing open here. Is let's come up with a scenario. So small to medium-sized businesses in the PEO space, very common number that's thrown out in average-sized customers, right around 20 employees. People always say, 20 employees is a great time to become a PEO client anyway, because now you have to deal with COBRA and other junk that happens at 20. So let's just use that. So if you're a 20-person company, if you're the business owner, I should say, of a 20-person company, let's call it Rick Johnson. What do you want it to be?
Industries. Let's go with that.
Wonderful. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. Rick Johnson Industries. It's like Stark Industries. Okay, so 20-person company, your average wage nowadays for, let's just say, something a little more tech oriented, you're kind of that way, is about 80K, right? So if you've got 20 employees times 80,000, that's 1.6 million. So let's just say each one of these red chips represents $10,000.
All right.
So if it's 1.6 million, I need 160 of these guys. So this is the part where hopefully people have that fast forward button or like listen at 3 times speed. So let's just see here. Let's get these counted out. Spoiler alert, I did count these out before, so I'm not going to pretend like I'm doing this all right now in front of you. So this, if you're a small to medium-sized business owner, as you've been growing your successful business, Rick Johnson Industries.
Yeah,
you're hiring individuals, you're hiring salespeople, you're hiring administration, you are hiring marketing individuals. You've gotten into social media, so now you need a social media manager.
Mm-hmm.
You're hiring talent. You are acquiring payroll expense, and I don't mean like paychecks or ADP, like wages, what you pay your people. And so 1.6 million and an increment of $10,000 per chip looks a little
wobbly.
Something, we're gonna have to reinforce this here. Something like this. We should have tested this before for the strength of this table. So there's 1.6 million. Here's your other one. Here's your one.
All right.
1.6 million. So you and your 20 employees rolling around, you're in there too.
Yeah.
Right. So especially if you're a C Corp and you're paying yourself like an employee. So if you're in there, so you're paying taxes, right? Before Mr. and Mrs. PEO rep walked in to talk about this concept of PEO, you were spending this. You were also spending tax. You were paying taxes because you were spending this. Uncle Sam's got teeth into you.
Yep.
And so let's just say lots of tax burdens, not factoring highly comp. Let's just call it 10%. Let's do nice math, easy math.
160K.
160K. So let's see here. Let me get my. Okay, there we go. There's 160K, 16 chips.
There's your taxes. All right.
Taxes. That's what you're paying the IRS because you have employees.
All right.
Lucky you. So now, 1.6 million in payroll, $160,000 in taxes at a 10% tax rate, if that's accurate. That's what you're spending. Now, because of the nature of what you do, and because you're a good employer and you're compliant with different state responsibilities and just general good best practices, you have workers' comp.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say at Rick Johnson Industries, you got some 8742s, you got some 8810s. It's generally low risk, what have you. So maybe your average rate per 100 is right around 40, 50 cents.
Yeah.
So that's going to turn out to be somewhere around $8,900, something like that. So let's just call it 10,000.
Yeah.
So here's your workers' comp expense, 10K. That was scary.
For those of you listening, those are SIC codes that Ryan rattles off every now and then.
They're not SIC codes, they're work comp codes. But that's right.
Comp.
So I'll have to go back to training. Okay, so work comp codes, 8742, salesperson, 8810, administrative.
Oh,
so
that's right.
That's right. Yeah, so you're good. So workers' comp. Now, because you're a good employer, and because you have been growing and successful and you want to continue to grow, what is one of the things you use to attract and retain talent?
A number of things. I mean, benefits, obviously, but
Benefits,
different versions of them.
Yeah. So you got your medical, dental, vision, life, 401k, all the things. So let's just say you've got 20 employees, like we've been talking about.
Yeah.
If you use a 66% participation rate.
Okay.
It's right around 13 employees. Okay, 13.2. So you're paying $500 per employee per month. Like that's, we're talking with a company just the other day. That's their benefit bank. They give $500 per employee. So the real easy number, that's 13 times 500. That's $6,500 a month. That's $78,000 a year.
All right.
Medical. That's just the employer portion. We're not even getting into like what your employees have to spend here yet.
Yeah, that's almost the whole chip.
This is just the employer portion. So 78 Need to read more. So there's 80,000.
All right.
Kind of rounded for inflation. So there's your medical. Now, you've also got other stuff: dental, vision, life, accident. Maybe you have some sort of disability in there. Let's just call that for 20K.
All right.
So two chips.
Fair.
Two chips. So 20K. And then this is not going to make it. And then, again, because you're an employer of choice and you want to compete for talent, you also have a 401K.
Yeah.
So of your own volition, you decide to set up a 401K long before PEO X sales rep I walk in the door, and you're paying 3%, right? So let's say 3. You take you're paying yourself 250,000. Congratulations. You take 1.6 down to 13.5 or 1.35, 3%. It's going to be somewhere in the ballpark around $40,000 or whatever.
Okay.
So there's your 40,000, and then because 401ks aren't free unless you're with PEOs supposedly, you got administrative costs. So
Yeah.
fold that into the benefit expense. So there's 50K right there. Wow.
Oh boy.
Don't be afraid to help. There we go. Don't touch the table.
I know.
So there you go. So we've got 1.6 million in payroll.
Okay.
We've got 160,000 in taxes, FICA, FUTA, SUTA.
Right. What's that one red in the middle there?
The one red in the middle is workers' comp.
Okay.
That's the one with the work comp code.
Right.
And then you've got your medical at 78,000. You got your ancillaries another 20,000, and you got your $50,000 for your 401k and 401k administration.
Gotcha.
Fees, all the junk. And then, because you're a really good employer, you've decided, hey, I kind of need to. These are all people-related expenses. I have to have a system to administer my
Yeah.
money.
Right. Yeah.
So I go out and I shop the cheapest thing, or I go buy some HCM or what have you, and this is kind of what it looks like until people kind of mature or graduate to a more robust PEO model. They spend $10,000 for 20 people. It's $41.67 per employee per month. Like, I think most PEO reps would love to get that number. Like, hey, I'm spending close to almost $50 a month per employee to administer them today. So let's say that's in here. So this green chip denotes your HR expense today.
All right.
I'm really terrified to put this on here.
Nicely done.
All right. So that's what you're spending. So everything we've recapped: payroll, taxes, workers' comp, benefits, ancillaries, 401k, and one green chip to administer it all.
And that's just your people.
That's what you have today before PEO rep ever walks in the door to introduce you to the concept of a PEO. So now this is how Rick Johnson Industries running. You're doing what you can.
Yeah.
Maybe on this HR technology, it's processing payroll and doing that and sending, all your state and federal filings correctly, but it's really not you're kind of working outside the system for PTO tracking. Maybe it's not really tracking time. Maybe you never got anybody on it because it didn't really seem like it worked or never got set up correctly.
Yeah.
You're still sitting here with complete exposure liability. You don't have an EPLI policy in place to protect all this. I mean, not to mention, like, the EPLI policy would be a worthwhile expense for all of this. But you don't have it.
Yeah. Employees are happy, but they don't have liquid death flavored water or anything.
They don't have liquid death.
Yeah.
That's a good moment to pause.
That's a good plug. Yeah.
And makes your hands more still. So that's what you're spending today. So then a PEO rep comes in from any PEO and sits down and starts to talk to you about the value of investing in human capital. Talks about being an employer of choice, having more options for employees, controlling costs on your health insurance, not only in reducing them today, but stabilizing them over the future. It talks about giving you time and energy back because as a part of this growth plan, you've expanded outside of your initial headquarters, and now you got employees in 3 states, and you know what the pain that is to be able to do that. And now you're going to continue to hire that way. And not to mention, you've got some degree of, HR PTSD from dealing with some maybe difficult employment situations, tough termination, somewhere you felt very much alone, where you had nobody to engage with.
And piecemealing it all together on your own somehow.
And pulling together, kind of a half-assed integration with your QuickBooks and everything else. Like, it's kind of working, but not. So we sit down, we talk about those things. We talk about what it would be like to fix those things, what it would be like to be an employer of choice. And then you give us the data.
Yes.
Is a pain in the ass. And so you feel like maybe we owe you a little more, like in terms of chips. But you go through that process.
Yeah.
And then this is a conversation that I feel like is all too familiar. So you're a 20-person company. Let's say my PEO charges $120 per employee per month.
Okay.
That's what the fee is to take this on, to lift and shift liability, to manage all your multi-state compliance, to make you an employer of choice, to control your costs and health insurance, to make you the employer you always wanted to be in the eyes of your employees. At $120 and 20 employees,
okay,
it's $28,800.
All right.
So 3 chips. That's what it costs to get that's what it costs to make all of this better, to make all of this run more effectively, to make you a better employer, to attract better talent, to retain key talent, to manage your risk, to take on all your compliance responsibilities, to have better benefit packages, to have fiduciary liability removed if you actually put the 401k inside the multi-employer model of a PEO.
Yeah.
Like you get all of that. And we're only scratching the surface of like all the things you can do. You can get into an ATS and do a better job of hiring people. You can do better performance management because you have people to tap into for that. You can track time more effectively, maybe bill more correctly to your customers because you have a cohesive time and attendance platform that spiders across the entire system. People can actually track their PTO. Like they can stop using Post-it notes now. Congratulations. All of that for this. And you're already spending this. So that's staggering. I, as a business owner, decided to run a business, start a business, grow it and scale it. And to make it all better, all I got to do is spend this to make all of that better. But wait, there's more. You know what happens. The PEO decision is an offset conversation.
Right.
We're going to offset some of these fees. So it's not like you just have to spend this.
Right. So
what happens typically? Well, we're going to consolidate your current HR expense. So this chip goes away.
All right. So there's 10 grand.
We'll put them here. And if at $78,000, just the employer portion of the medical,
right?
I save you some money. Let's say I save you 10 grand. Not significant, not earth shattering. Although I will say on $78,000, a $10,000 reduction is a 13%.
Yeah.
I mean, I know every business owner I've met with over the past, I guess now 18 years would take a 13% reduction on their medical like that. So that's one chip. So that's gone. It's replaced with this. So if I can get these two on here, this is what the investment is. It's this one chip.
Yeah.
One chip to make your organization run more effectively. One chip to take better care of your people. One chip to sleep better at night. Knowing that your business, this thing you care immensely about, and the people around it, and the families that revolve around that business, is taken care of by that one chip. Sounds like a no-brainer, right?
Sure.
We tend to think so as PEO reps. That's why we get so enamored in this business. Like whether you've seen something like this before, or whether you've created your own visualization of the impact, PEO people become very entrenched in this industry. One, you make good money if you're any good at it. That's a nice thing. But two, and really more importantly, like you help business owners, business leaders, employees, small businesses succeed.
Yeah.
And you can see it doesn't take a whole lot because they're already spending this. And we lose deals where it's only this, unfortunately. Unfortunately, it's too often. And the reason I think that happens is twofold. One, you're a PEO rep who sells on price, not on value. So it was all a race to zero. It was all a race to just take this stack down as far as you could and go, hey, look at this. spoiler alert, you lose some of those deals too, because you didn't connect it to value. You didn't connect it to the impact. So maybe something like this helps you to go like, okay, wow, that's pretty staggering that you're spending all of this and we're haggling over that. Like,
Right.
do I have permission to challenge you right now? Because I think we're focused on the wrong thing. The other reason is the business owner doesn't get it. And you don't have a tangible way to show them. So I'm not promoting you go buy a poker chip set and run around with it and do this for people.
Just play this video for them.
Yes, play this video, and then when they don't get it, just tell them to call PEOG. No, but the ability to like sales is a transference of emotion, and there's enough emotion and impact that PEO people have about this already. So now, like, if you can really convey this to a business owner to help them understand, like, listen, Rick, you spend 1.928 million already before I ever walked in the door. Before I ever walked in here, you were spending this money.
Yeah.
And I'm giving you a way to make that investment run better. If I had not shown you this, and if I walked in and just spoke of the merits of PEO and its ability to impact, and I show you the NAPIO data and all the stuff, like, if I'd say a solution that's now been sitting around for 50 years and is generally well thought of and is really successful at helping small businesses run more effectively, if by putting you in that, if it made your business 0.5% better, if it would do that, would that be significant to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Very significant.
If I did it at 0.5%, if you could, your whole business could be 0.5% better and it was free.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
And you have to.
Okay. Well, this is 0.5%.
No.
This is 0.5% of this scenario's payroll.
Yeah.
Now, the real great news for that business owner is organizations thrive in the PEO model. They grow more effectively. Their people feel taken care of. They're in a professional environment. A PEO is a great way to take everything a big business has and scale it in a cost-effective manner into a small business structure. So you've got way upside here. It's not we're not going to make your business better by 0.5%. It's going to be 15% better. It's going to be 20% better. It's going to be whatever you deem it is, because it's really up to you. Like, how are you struggling? What do you need help with? What are your priorities? Can you even get to them?
Which PEO did you go with?
Right. If you've even gone that route. So that's what we're talking about. You're already spending this, and we're talking about making your business better, and you're haggling with me about this. Yeah. Like, can we just get this? Can we just start making your business and your employees feel better taken care of?
Yeah.
And like, that is what this concept is intended to do, is to bring it to scale and make it apparent. Like, this is Mr. and Mrs. Business Owner. Like, I don't know, stop ordering Starbucks.
Yeah.
For the office.
But don't stop bringing in the liquid death sparkling.
Right. Yeah, never don't do that. It was liquid death. It's about half the price of a Starbucks. Probably many more. But no, I mean, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So I think that when we did this, you tell me if this was impactful, but I know when I've done it in the past, it's just a different way to look at this.
Yeah. I mean, I think before we did this, we were talking about it with a whiteboard, and that was completely fine. But we were sort of going through everything by name, all the different things that are impacting an employer. And then I think when we did it this way, I was able to sort of put those things that I had to learn to the side and just visualize it with just the chips alone. And so I was like, it made more sense. I was able to understand just the scale of it. When you're just speaking to me and saying it's 0.5%, that's the cost of this. I'm thinking, okay, but what's the delta from what it was to what it is, and a lot of other things. So this just really kind of cleared it up. I know when we first did it on your kitchen counter, I think.
Yeah. And it's fun. And I don't think I'll do it here because it'll be a mess. But when I used to do this training for sales teams in the PEO world, I would naturally knock this all over. So it'd splatter everywhere. And then I would take this chip and I'd toss it in the middle. Be like, now try to find it. Like, in all of this, try to find, let's just do it. I don't know. Easy. You really are the host with the host. So now, let's say if I just replace it with a red one, or I guess I could do it this one. Now, if I just replace it, make it not so obvious it's a green. Like this is the chip we're talking about. So now find me the chip you are haggling with me about, or find me the chip that's holding you up.
Yeah.
More importantly, from making a decision that will make all of this run more effectively.
Yeah. Tell me which one is buying lunch for the office and which one is.
Yeah. So, yeah, that is the cost, the true cost of employment relative to the cost of acquiring a PEO for your small and medium-sized business to scale.
Yeah.
So
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Listen, thanks everybody for tuning in. I thought this was a pretty special episode. We'll be sending it out to all of you. And like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let us know what you think about this one. And we will see you next time. Wagon ears. Thanks for tuning in.